So do I just ball or?
Hold up. That was funny as fuck. You know what? Fuck it. Let's leave that in. All right. Hi. Hello, magpies, and welcome to this very professional YouTube video of introducing one of the D&D characters for the upcoming Heroes of Heterodoxy D&D campaign. I am here with Void. Their pronouns are they and them, who I believe you rolled a druid. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's me. I'm a druid. Hi.
Yeah. So, a background was hermit, I believe. So you want to give a little bit of background as to what sort of druid you are.
So, I mean, obviously starting at level 1, I don't have the circle or anything yet. But I'll be playing into the circle that I'm going into eventually anyway, so far as druids go. Playing Circle of Wildfire. So I have a little, basically like a fire spirit animal, almost. Like a little magical fire sprite companion. That I can use instead of my, the usual turn myself into an animal thing, eventually. I'm playing into it, even though I can't play it yet. But
and that
Diya,
will be a rabbit.
It will be a rabbit. Diya, they hail from Kalimshan. Which is very, it's India inspired.
Yeah, the Indian Golden Age.
Yeah. And so a lot of Diya's background so far as like learning how to move through the world and learning how things work comes from that very it comes from that caste system, comes from those ideals, comes from those like inspired by a lot of those traditions. And so like the hermit thing is taking time away from the usual flow of society to really like sit and learn and meditate on those ideals and those practices, and sort of come to a deeper understanding of the world through that.
Yep. So, and yet your alignment is chaotic good, so there's a little bit of a conflict with that lawful ascetic lifestyle. Sometimes
you sit and you meditate and you contemplate the values of the society that you've been raised in, and you decide that it's not for you.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you evaluate the world and you go, no thanks. Actually, not quite. There are some things that I like here, but there are some things that I don't. And for Diya, part of what doesn't fit is the structure.
Yeah. And for race, you picked halfling. Strongheart halfling, being the halflings in my world who sort of retained their original halfling spirit, weren't corrupted in any way during the divine spell plague. So you're just a little guy with a little chip on your shoulder and a little burning rabbit on the other shoulder.
Pretty much, yeah. Just a little dude trying to move through the world.
Hell yeah. And so when we look down your stats, we have you're kind of tough, but don't have any outstanding physical attributes. We got strength 11, dex 13, con 14, 10 intelligence, 16 wisdom, and 10 charisma. So you've got some outstanding in terms of you're not particularly agile by halfling standards.
No.
But you are wise, perceptive, and willful.
Yes. Diya is very much the way that I'd like to play, like in a, stat, like focusing on stats is it's not so much can dodge a hit as can take a hit.
Mm-hmm.
So we're not really relying on being able to move out of the way here. We're very much leaning into being able to just withstand whatever gets thrown at. And, you know, con's good for a spellcaster if you're trying to hold concentration on something.
Absolutely.
But a lot of it is going to be like perceiving, like perception, like looking at the world, analyzing things. Wisdom for me is always read as like a street smarts.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of smart, which I adore. And obviously main spellcasting stat for a druid. But, you know, Diya's not supposed to be strong in a lifting and carrying things in a jumping sense. Like, Diya doesn't move. Is the idea. Diya will say what's on her mind, regardless of whether that's a good time to say it or a good thing to say. So, charisma being flat is just like sometimes you can get away with just being blunt. But if something's coming at Diya's not going to move out of the way.
Mm-hmm. Just before
even though, let me be clear, Diya probably should.
Uh-huh.
She will not.
Just before we started recording, we were joking that this character is the everything else on fire, everything is fine memes.
Yes.
And appropriately, your druidic focus is a piece of flint. Because you're a fire starter, a twisted fire starter.
Pretty much. So yeah, like, even when a spell is not fire-based, the flavor of it is very much going to be fire starting.
Mm-hmm. And I see you've taken survival, medicine, and a herbalism kit, which all seem to go together nicely.
Yeah, that's a lot of the hermit background-based stuff. I believe medicine is one of the hermit skills. Yeah. Which, you know, I figured, you know, if you're taking time to go and meditate and evaluate on things, one of the things you're evaluating is the way your body works. Even on like a basic surface level, the way your body works. I'm not saying Diya's a surgeon. I don't think Diya would have the patience for that. But can certainly help out in a pinch and make potions to
absolutely.
Healing.
And religion and insight, which suits your background and your being fairly perceptive. You understand people to a degree.
To a degree.
But maybe some extrovert energy.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Diya is a very
flaming extrovert.
Yes.
Okay, and going with the theme of fire, we took Bloodline of Fire for your level 1 feat, which is one of the regional feats from Kalimshan. So somewhere in your past, somebody interbred with a genie, and now you have resistance to fire damage.
Yes. That felt important if I was going to be playing with fire. At least I will be relatively safe. Kind of.
Yeah. And we have the Fey Touch feat, which I guess we're sort of more flavoring as, I guess, Genie Touched? Question mark?
Yeah, the flavor is more Genie Touched than Fey.
So, Misty Step, you got that for your spell, which would be, I guess, more Smoky Step, and Identify.
Yes.
Now, I looked into it, and technically, you probably wouldn't... If we use the rules as written, you wouldn't be able to cast Identify as a ritual spell because it is not a druid spell. But I'm going to say, fuck it, TM. That's my trademark D&D DMing style trademark. Fuck it, TM. And say, shortest distance between 2 points, sure. You just add it to your spell list and cast it as a ritual. I might allow it.
Good shit.
Cool. And so, your languages, we have 2 secret languages you can't share with anybody. Halfling. Halfling is a secret language in my world. The halflings don't share it. The Hin do not share their tongue. No. Druidic, secret druid language.
Do not share it. Don't talk about it. There are a lot of things in Diya's life that you don't talk about out loud.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Don't mention the war.
Yeah, there is no war.
Yes, there is no war in Ba Sing Se. Now, Alzedo, which is the language of Kalimshan, and you picked up Chondathan so you can speak with the party.
Yes.
Alright, now I believe you haven't picked your spells yet, but that's a pretty simple, straightforward-y thing. And if anybody's wondering why you have 2 feats, it's because Strongheart Halflings receive a free feat, and I give everybody a free feat at level 1. So you get 2 feats to start. 2 feats, 1 foot, 2 foot.
Yes.
Alright.
I do get to stay lucky, which is fantastic.
Yep.
Because I notoriously roll bad. So I feel like I'll be relying on that.
I double took at that for a moment because there's actually a feat that called lucky as well, and I was looking at that going, how'd they get 3 feats? But,
no. I was just reminding myself that I still had lucky, that I could. If I don't write it down and put it in front of me, I'm not going to remember that it exists.
Yep, and your equipment, straightforward, just the Hermit pack, the Explorer's pack. You got yourself, I see, a light crossbow and a quarterstaff, and the regional equipment for Kalimshan of 3 basic healing potions and studded leather armor. Alright.
Yes.
So, do we have like a character progression in mind? Do we have a way that we want to play your character? Are you just kind of open to the world to see what happens next? Say yes to the story.
I very much like to be able to say yes. Based on backstory and things that we were just discussing, I am expecting Diya to get into some kind of mischief, to get into some kind of trouble. There is an element of nothing really matters sort of happening with Diya, and not in a like put down, won't do anything about it sort of sense, but very much in a it's all good if I get into mischief. It's okay if shit hits the fan, because it's fine. Nothing matters. We're good, baby. Everything's great. So Diya is a little bit chaotic in that sense. That's where the chaotic alignment sort of comes from. It's not a chaos in a like I'm gonna burn everything down immediately sort of sense, but it is a like I'm just gonna do the thing, and if it doesn't work, it's whatever. It's fine. I'm just gonna say the thing, and if people don't like it, that's fine. It's whatever. Nothing matters. We're totally cool. Let's move on to the next thing. Whatever. What are consequences? I don't care.
And there's definitely room for character growth there as you meet consequences.
Yes. Right now, Diya does not care about consequences, but Diya will eventually.
You've been living in a forest. You don't exactly know consequences yet.
Yeah. What do you mean my actions have consequences? What do you mean everything that goes up must come down? It's crazy talk. It's nonsense. I'll just do what I want.
So let's talk backstory without giving away any deep secrets that you don't necessarily want to give away.
We can't talk about secrets.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Where should I start?
perhaps I should start with the little parable I told you.
Yes. Please.
So we kind of worked this around a story from Osamu Tezuka's manga about the life of Buddha, which starts with a story of a mystic who's meditating in a forest, and he has starved himself to a point. Through his ascetic lifestyle, he can barely move. All the animals of the forest come out and start bringing him things to eat and taking care of him. And there was a rabbit that can't find any food to bring to the man. The other animals start to turn on the rabbit because it's not fulfilling its duty of helping this holy man that they have all worked together on. So the rabbit throws itself into the fire so that its own body may be nutrients to feed the holy man. The holy man sees the rabbit's sacrifice and he breaks his meditation and he thrusts his hands into the fire, pulls the rabbit out, and he holds its lifeless body, receives enlightenment at that moment. He realizes that all life is connected. It is all part of one essential force. And so we kind of built around that a little bit. We can well imagine you with your fire-resistant hands taking the time to try to save the rabbit. And then the rabbit, now liberated from its physical body, its spiritual form now serves you.
Yeah, just hanging out. Just being a pal.
Just chilling, me and my little rabbit buddy.
Yeah, just a little rabbit friend. But there was something very because I picked the wildfire druid first. Because I haven't played a druid before, not really, and wildfire looked interesting. So like that came first, and there was something so wonderful in like a character building sense. The idea of like not only trying to rescue something from fire, but throwing yourself into fire to do so was such a fun trait to sort of springboard the rest of who Diya is.
Yeah. And you play with fire, you get burnt.
Mm-hmm.
The way of the mystic, of the scholar, is to destroy their sense of self. You know, enlightenment is a kind of a self-destruction. It destroys your preconceived notion. Well, yes. Being a hermit, you're kind of privy to some secrets, which we just talked about, and which kind of shook your worldview to the core.
There is a very clear before secrets and after secrets, Diya. And we're dealing with after secrets, Diya. But there is a before secrets, Diya. And I don't know if any of that will come back to shine through or be brought back up by any means, but if it is, it'll be an interesting contrast to lean into. Because yes, it wasn't like Diya always knew these things.
Mm-hmm.
At some point in Diya's like younger life, went away to learn these things.
Yeah.
And,
so your carefree nature broken? And perhaps attempting to rediscover it.
Mm-hmm.
Said goodbye to the world of the caste system and oppression that you've always known.
Yeah. Escaping the political landscape happening in that place as well.
And you ended up teaming up, finding another Kalashite individual, traveling north to join the Raven's Banner Crusade that you had learnt about.
Yes.
A blind swordswoman by the name of Brooke. And you two are kind of definitely an odd couple. She's the lawful neutral, like holy person, sticks to the mission. And it's a kind of your traveling companions of convenience.
Yeah. It's
More than once you've caused her to sort of rub the bridge of her nose in
Oh, almost certainly. But it is safer to travel on the road with a companion than it is to travel alone.
Yeah.
Always safer to travel in pairs.
Yeah. And upon reaching the northern lands through magical transportation or circumvention of the war areas or however you did it, you were sent on a mission as Kalashite individuals from a high magic area. You were handpicked to be part of a group to go to the far northern reaches of the Empire, the most northernmost human habitable lands, the Silver Marches Alliance, a collection of cities, final frontier of a frozen, cold land full of powerful wizards, dangerous creatures, and untamed terrain. And you have a chance to perhaps find a new life.
Nah, man, I'm gonna melt it.
Hell yeah. Alright. So, we hyped?
Yeah, so hyped.
Alright, cool. We'll catch up with all of you soon. Swoop swoop.